Tremendous, lethal, volatile, earth-shattering sports talk will commence in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's go. This is the Doug Stewart Show coming to you live. Very live. Very live. October 13th, 2014. And thank you for joining your folk in an incredible weekend in the world of sports, in the NFL and college football. And we're going to get all of your ballers and your busters, a.k.a. your game balls and your goats, from this past weekend on this Man Talk Monday. Yes, it's a Man Talk Monday, and these type of days I don't really like. And let's just keep it real. I mean, these type of days I don't really like because I've got to, eat a big-ass, fat crow sandwich. Yes! I got to eat a crow sandwich with salt, pepper, and onions and stewed, and then it's broiled, and it's all of that. Yes! But these Dallas Cowboys. Damn. Woo. Oh, man. And I got to pause for a second, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining me. You can give me a call at 404-382-0338. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. And you can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. And this segment is brought to you by FanDuel, one-day fantasy sports for as low as $1. And yeah, they're tripping at me behind the glass because of what happened on yesterday in the NFL, and I'll get to that in a second. But I want to give a couple of shots out, man. Shouts out to Impact Church, man, in East Point, Georgia. Pastor Olu Brown, and the fantastic church service that these guys have every Sunday, man. I actually, for the second time, hosted a pregame show at Impact Church, and their motto is they do church differently, and they do in a big-time way. So shouts out to Pastor Brown and the Impact family, and also shouts out to Leon Goodrum of Goodrum Enterprises. Guy owns 8 McDonald's in that southwest area of East Point, Georgia. And so he was one of the guys that we spoke to yesterday, one of the sponsors of the pregame show, the Impact Pregame Experience. And so shouts out to Leon Goodrum, as well as shouts out to Samuel Brown as well. Maceo Brown from System 5 Electronics. Both big wigs doing big things, man. He has an electronics company, and they really specialize in home monitoring services. And so shouts out to those. Had a good time talking to those guys about their lives, because really these guys are like modern day success stories. Big time. Started from nothing, and now they're here. So shouts out to those guys as well. All right. So the number is 404-382-0338. And it is the Doug Stewart Show. Let me talk quickly about a couple of things first before I even get to what I've got all of this stress about today on today's show. On today's show. So first of all, let me go ahead and give some conversation to the Atlanta Falcons going down on yesterday. Falcons lose 27-13 to the Chicago Bears, and I mean, just a horrible loss. And the reason why it's a horrible loss is not for the obvious reasons because they lost, but it's the fact that they lost at home. Okay? It's the fact that the Falcons lost at home. And we've talked about this ad nauseum, and the fact that the Falcons really defensively, they can't stop anybody, and that they're going to get into shootouts every single week. And, this is probably an 8-8 team, a 9-7 team. But what you saw yesterday was like the worst of all worlds. Not only were they stopped several times and their offense wasn't as efficient as it normally is simply they lost at home. Matt Ryan does not lose at home, and you're talking about an evenly matched team. And this is something I talked about on the pregame show yesterday at Impact Church, and the fact that these teams really mirrored each other. And I'm talking about the Falcons and the Bears. As far as offensively, big-time weapons at wide receiver, not a lot of defense. So it should be a shootout, but it wasn't a shootout. 27-13, Falcons go down. And really, the game wasn't even that close. If you watch the game, it wasn't even that close. Without the big run from Anton Smith, I mean, this is a 27-6 win for the Chicago Bears. So just a real tough loss yesterday, and you got to start worrying now if you're a Falcon fan about this team. 2-4 on the year, and didn't look good yesterday. Just simply did not look good on yesterday. And Jay Cutler throws for almost 400 yards and a touchdown. Alshon Jeffrey, and we can't stop anybody. We can't stop anybody. And so that was just I think out of all the losses this year, and I mentioned the team is 2-3, with the losses against the Giants and the losses against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think this one hurt more than all of those. And I think really puts things more in perspective than any of the other losses that the team has this year is because it was at home. And Matt Ryan does not lose at home. And it was awful, man. It was absolutely awful. And I mean, and then to add on top of it, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, to add on top of it, the Bears came in there and basically outfanned us. Yes! The Bear presence, the fan presence of the Bears yesterday was absolutely incredible. And we had this conversation, and we pretty much, been to every Falcons game over the last decade or so, ever since we've been doing radio, the Two Live Stews. And we were talking with some of the people at the tailgate, which the tailgate was just incredible yesterday. Shouts out to everybody that helps put that together, all the dogs and the poodles. But we were talking, and I can't remember a bigger presence of fans from an opposing team outside of the Pittsburgh Steelers. When the Steelers came to Atlanta a couple of years ago, they took over the dome. And that damn near happened yesterday. Yes, the Bears fans were thick. I didn't know the Bears fans rolled like that. So they get a baller award. I'm going to go ahead and give the Bears fans a baller award because they showed out yesterday. I mean, and that's what happens when you got one of these legacy teams like the Bears or the Steelers, to a lesser degree the Cowboys. Their fan base is just incredible, and it's not just in that city. It's everywhere. There are Bear fans everywhere from what I can tell. There's a whole lot of them here in Atlanta. Yes. So shouts out to the Bear fans, man. Way to really just get out there. And I'm talking jerseys and shirts and hats and they had Bear, I'm sure it's probably the Bear fan clubs here in Atlanta, had huge spots of real estate. And it was Bears fans all over the place. It was. All right, let me just go ahead and get to it now. You're in the doghouse with the Doug Stewart Show. How about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? What? I wish little John was in here. What? Yeah. The Dallas Cowboys going to Seattle and beat the Seahawks, the defending Super Bowl champions. And they didn't just beat them. I think they beat them handedly. The score, once again, the score doesn't really indicate it. But by all indications, Seattle got the beatdown yesterday from Dallas. And I don't know what's going on in Dallas. I don't know what the hell these guys are drinking. I don't know what they're doing. But this isn't the Dallas Cowboy team that we look to see this year in the NFL. And I know you Cowboy fans are out there saying, we told you so, this, that, and the other. Damn it, you didn't tell us nothing. Okay? You didn't really believe that. You were a fan, just supporting your team and having a positive outlook. We get that. But you didn't really think that this Dallas Cowboy team was a 5-1 team to start off the season? You didn't. But forget about that. I'm not going to harp on the negative. I'm not going to sound like a negative Nancy or a negative Ned. Ball award goes to the Dallas Cowboys. Yes. How about them Cowboys? 30-23 over the Seattle Seahawks. The defense is playing fantastic. Everybody in the world is talking about how great the offensive line is playing, in which they are. They're making big plays. And then you talk about the running game. 29 carries, 115 yards for DeMarco Murray. And the Dallas Cowboys are running the ball like Jason Garrett forgot about his real original game plan. Like, who the hell is this Jason Garrett? Sticking to the run. This isn't the Jason Garrett we all know and love. You know, this isn't this guy. So I don't know what's gotten into him. I don't know what's gotten into Dallas. I don't know what's gotten into the defense. I don't know what's gotten into the offensive line. But you guys are playing great football. And from henceforth, the rest of this year, I will no longer doubt you. I think the Dallas Cowboys got a shot to make some noise this year. Some real noise, because they're doing it with great fundamentals. They're doing it with great fundamentals. They're running the ball. They're blocking well. They're tackling well. Shouts out to Rolando McClain. They get this guy off the scrap heap. This guy quit 3 or 4 teams. This guy retired from football several times. And he's out there like the captain of the defense. When Sean Lee got hurt in the preseason, or the offseason, everybody thought the Cowboys defense was going to take 5 steps back. And not so much. Actually, the defense is playing better than they did, well, obviously last year, because last year they were one of the worst defenses in the history of the league. But the defense is playing better, or just as good, or better. You could probably say better than if they had Sean Lee. Yes! So, there you have it, Dallas Cowboy fans. There you have it. Are you happy? Kind of like when Martin asked Gina to marry him, he really didn't want to do it. Are you happy now, Dallas Cowboy fans? You are a good team. You are. Oh, man, so I know y'all want to talk about it. I know y'all want to call up in and just let me have it, or email me and let me have it, or text me and let me have it, or hit me on Twitter and let me have it. That's fine. That's fine. And I know you've been doing it all day long. You deserve to. Your team played well. Your team is legit. As long as DeMarco Murray can stay healthy and Jason Garrett doesn't forget what the hell he's done these first 6 games, I think Dallas got a shot to do some things, man. I do. I really do. There's really no dominant team in the NFL. We thought Seattle was that team. And now Seattle's lost twice in a row. Okay? Yeah. Dallas is real. The Dallas Cowboys are real. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep it locked and keep your calls coming in, your texts coming in, your tweets coming in, and we need your ballers and your busters from this past weekend. Don't go anywhere. It's the Doug Stewart Show.
This your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-file, prescription savings, and a fully encompassed prepaid legal benefit that includes identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedougstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. All right, I know the deal. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right, billions with a B. Well, just do it, and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one source, a Facebook shopping application, a mobile-optimized website, and much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on the link on thedougstewartshow.com or the app link for details. The Doug Stewart Show is off and running, but just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America? By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty. People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at you both. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Yes!
It's a radio uprising in here. The Doug Stewart Show.
That's right. It's a radio uprising. This is the Doug Stewart Show, and thank you for joining your folk. I really do appreciate it. Falcons go down 27-13 on yesterday. The Dallas freaking Cowboys win a game on the road in Seattle against a team, against the 12th man, against Pete Carroll, against that tough defense, against Legion of Boom. Yes. So I want to get your thoughts. I need your ballers and your busters from this past weekend. And it is the Doug Stewart Show. You can email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. You can also give me a call at 404-382-0338. And this segment of the show is brought to you by 911 Tax Relief. Get Uncle Sam off your back. Get him off your back. And check out their banner link on the DougStewartShow.com and click on it and get all the information. So we're talking about everything that's happened this past weekend in the world of sports, in particular in the NFL and college football. Some big wins for some college teams. Excuse me. Some big wins. Some big wins for some college teams this past weekend, and we're obviously going to get into that and talk about those and how the top 25 is shuffled around a little bit. And we're just going to obviously talk about all of the big games in the NFL as well. So hit me up at 404-382-0338. But back to the Falcons game against the Bears. Just a tremendous win after a terrible loss last week for the Bears. Jay Cutler threw for 381 yards, targeting only 5 different players Sunday. The fourth instance of a quarterback targeting only 5 different players in a game in NFL history. Okay, so in the previous 3 instances, the quarterbacks averaged only 241.7 yards in a game. Cutler was much more effective. Obviously, he threw for 381 yards and just shredded the defense. Matt Ryan struggled downfield for the first time at home this season. He was 4 of 11 for 90 yards and an interception, throwing at least 15 yards downfield Sunday. So, and that's one of the things that everybody talks about when you talk about Matt Ryan is going down the field. And I remember my brother used to always throw around that Matt Ryan would dink you and dunk you to death. And he's gone downfield a lot. Obviously, when you have a weapon like Julio Jones, you can do that, but not so much on yesterday. So just not a great day offensively for a team that has to score points because you know that your defense is not the strongest suit of your team. You know that. And it just didn't happen yesterday. So now, everybody's asking about, are the Falcons going to be able to salvage this season and have a respectable finish? Or is it going to be another tough season like last year? And, everybody blamed the injuries last year, the fact that Julio Jones got hurt and was gone for the majority of the season for some of the problems that the team had last year. So now, you've got all your offensive weapons and you don't put up the offensive production that everybody thought that you would. And, this game was a toss-up. When you look at both offenses, you talk about the weapons that they have and Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffries and Jay Cutler at quarterback and Matt Forte. And then equally, you look at what the Falcons have, and our receiving core can go with anybody in the league. You got Devin Hester going up against his old team, but it just didn't work out yesterday, so you got to be very concerned. And the biggest thing is that they were at home. Yes. The biggest thing is that they were at home. So, oh, man, just real tough day yesterday if you're an Atlanta Falcon fan. The atmosphere down at the Dome was just like, it was morbid. It was like somebody had died because it was the manner in which the Bears drove down the field and threw big play after big play, and we couldn't stop them. We couldn't do anything with them. So that was just a tremendously tough loss yesterday. And like I said earlier, it kind of felt different than the other losses. You know, when you played against the Bengals, you were on the road, and at that time, the Bengals were the hottest team in the NFL. You go up to New York and play the Giants on the road. So those are tough losses, but it kind of makes sense. This loss yesterday, in the absence of offensive production, it just was bad. Yeah, you can't get any good feeling coming out of that one after that game, and the fans just, it felt like somebody had died. Yeah, it wasn't something that I can remember around the Georgia Dome for a long time, and obviously because the Falcons always win at home, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. So it was just a tough loss. And the other thing everybody's talking about is the Dallas Cowboys getting it done, 30-23 over the Seattle Seahawks. Once again, on the road. On the road, the Dallas Cowboys go in and put up 30 points, and I mean quality points, against what most people would deem the toughest defense in the NFL. Yes. And so they get a ball award. I mean, it's just no way around it. They get a ball award, handled their business, did the damn thing. And Jason Garrett, I mean, it's like, I know Cowboy fans are like disturbed because everybody and their mama have been saying that the Cowboys should run the ball more. And for some reason, I don't know what it is. I don't know if he feels like that he's on the hot seat, but it seems like somebody's clicked a switch as far as the offensive play calling for the Dallas Cowboys and Jason Garrett. And he's not calling the plays this year, so that's probably a big part of it. They have a new play caller this year. So I don't know what it is, but the Dallas Cowboys, I picked this team to win 5 games this year. They've already done it in the first 6. So unbelievable. And I'm a real dude. I keeps it real. You know, I can admit when I was wrong. And, you know, based on the variables I had before the season, I should have been right. But everything's just been turned topsy-turvy. And this team isn't doing what they were supposed to do. They aren't throwing the ball 50 times a game, okay? And they're not putting the game into the hands of Tony Romo. And they're not calling the same defenses that guys did before, or they did before. They're not blocking the way that they traditionally have over the last 10 years, or 20 years even. So just an incredible game by the Dallas Cowboys, and I got to give them credit. Here's a text from Savalas. He says, Cowboys didn't have the O-line and Murray running for a new deal. Yeah, DeMarco Murray's running for a new deal. And he's healthy. And that's a major thing with the Dallas Cowboys over the last couple of years is they haven't had a consistent running game because DeMarco Murray continues to get hurt. He just kept getting hurt over and over and over again. And knock on wood that the young man can stay healthy. But if he stays healthy, I mean, sky's the limit. I mean, you'd have to think right now that DeMarco Murray's probably the lead candidate for the MVP. Yes, a running back, and you know how running backs are devalued over the last couple of years. So that's an incredible feat in itself. So knock on wood, you know, I like to see people be successful. If DeMarco Murray can stay healthy, the Cowboys got something going on. I mean, they do. They do. They absolutely do. So hit me up at 404-382-0338. I need your ballers and your busters from this past weekend. Once again, Baller Award goes to the Chicago Bears fans. Showed out yesterday big time. I mean, they were there in droves. Baller Award goes to the Dallas Cowboys as they get it done. And Buster Award goes to the Seattle Seahawks on the flip side of that. You know, what's going on with Seattle? I mean, it was almost a foregone conclusion that the Seahawks were going to win the NFC. And not so much over the last couple of days. Not so much at all, okay, over the last couple of weeks. And this team shows that they're not, that they're human, okay, and that they aren't, some type of androids out there. And they played so dominantly last year, especially at the end of the season and going into that Super Bowl. And, that defense looked unbreakable. But they're definitely breakable. Yes, they are definitely breakable. Russell Wilson yesterday struggles, 28 passes, 14 completions, only 126 yards. This guy looked like one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the world a couple of weeks ago. All right? And so the NFL is just parody. It is. It's unbelievable parody. And you see evidence of that every single weekend. And in particular, yesterday, where the Dallas Cowboys go on the road and get a big win against the Seattle Seahawks. So just incredible. Absolutely incredible. 404-382-0338. All right, when we get back from the break, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Georgia football, in particular the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and the Georgia Bulldogs. Wow! Ass of ball awards go out to the Georgia Bulldogs players and to the team. We'll talk about that. Not so much for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, and maybe one of the most embarrassing losses that you can have in sports. Yes. So we'll get into that. We'll talk about it. Hey, listen, tomorrow we're going to talk to former Auburn all-world player, and I don't know, probably 15-year veteran Takeo Spikes is going to join me tomorrow on the show, on the Doug Stewart Show. And we'll get his thoughts on Auburn going down this weekend, the team, what he's doing now. We'll obviously talk to him about the NFL. He's an analyst. He's doing analyst stuff right now. So we'll get his thoughts on the NFL, obviously about these Dallas Cowboys and everything pro football related. So Takeo Spikes, good dude, great friend of the show. Used to have him on all the time when we were doing the 2 Live too. So make sure you tell people, Auburn fans in particular, let them know that Takeo Spikes, probably the greatest linebacker in Auburn Tiger history, will join me on tomorrow's show. All right, up next, we'll grab your phone calls. I'll read more of your tweets and your messages. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. This is the Doug Stewart Show.
What is 9/11 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers in compromise or penalty abatements. 9/11 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So don't play around. Click on the link on my website and let 9/11 Tax Relief help you in your situation with our uncle, better known as Sam. So you think you're a fantasy whiz, huh? Well, prove it and make some nice scratch at the same time. Scratch is money. What do you know about FanDuel? FanDuel packs the thrill of a whole season in 1 week. Play in 1 week fantasy football leagues for free money with immediate cash payouts. The money is real with no season-long commitment. That's huge because when your team starts to suck, you don't want to play no more. It's no more fun. Trade everybody. I've been there. You play win and how much you want. Deposit now and FanDuel will match it up to $200. Use the promo code COOLER, that's COOLER, and take advantage of free loot to get your game on. FanDuel, where every week is a new season. I'm always saying get with the times. Stop acting like you at your mama house, calling that girl you met at summer camp 2 states away, and your mama screaming out, "I know you better not be talking long distance running up my bill with that little hussy girl." Well, get with the times with your long distance charges. Presenting Univon. Univon offers unlimited worldwide calling to 60 plus countries for $14.99 a month. No contract, no activation fee, and no cancellation fee. Users can call anytime using their mobile phone or home IP phone. So stop flushing money down the drain. Get more details by clicking Univon's link banner on thedougstewartshow.com or the link on the dougstewartshow.com app. Try out Univon and call your peoples like you not at your mama house.
He never throws into double coverage like Tony Romo. The Doug Stewart Show.
Wait a minute. We got to get rid of that drop. Wait a minute. Hit that again. Wait.
He never throws into double coverage like Tony Romo. The Doug Stewart Show.
Damn. Get rid of that one because Tony Romo was balling out of control. You are listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Man, come on, Waterhead Walter. Get rid of that one. Oh, we can't play that one anymore, at least in the foreseeable future, because the Dallas Cowboys are balling out of control. Are you kidding me? This is the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining, folks. You can email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. You can give us a call at 404-382-0338. And, man, just a great weekend, man. So I'm getting your ballers and your busters. Anything you want to talk about from this past weekend, we can do it on the show. Here's a text from Kevin. He says, Madden curse is real. Yes, I guess what he's talking about is Seattle and the fact that Richard Sherman was on the cover of Madden this past year, and now they're starting to struggle a little bit. Scotty says Seattle is starting to read and believe their press clippings. Yes, and I saw a clip on SportsCenter this morning. One of the players was talking about that when they were interviewing him, or he gave some comments at the post-game press conference about, he thinks that some of these guys are starting to read some of their press clippings. So, I don't know what's going on with Seattle, but they better get it together real fast. This is the Doug Stewart Show, and this segment is brought to you by Join 7. Join 7 is a protection group, and they protect against life's little mishaps. So go to my website, thedougstewartshow.com, and click on their banner link and join 7. All right, so obviously this past weekend, a lot of great action in college football. I got to give a big-ass ball award to the Georgia Bulldogs, going on the road to Missouri and beating the Tigers 34-ish. Yes, a shutout, 34-0, and everybody and their mama was talking about the fact that Todd Gurley wasn't going to play in this game, and would the Georgia offense be able to succeed without him? And here comes Nick Chubb. Yes, another ball award goes to the freshman. 38 carries, 143 yards for Nick Chubb, a freshman. This kid was running against 17, 16, 15-year-old kids last year. And in the SEC, real good future ahead of this young man, Nick Chubb. Balled his ass out of control. Now, I don't know if you're going to feed a kid the ball 38 times a game, if that's what Nick Chubb has in his future. I don't think so. I think they just had to do it yesterday. They had to play sound football, and they did it. And this kid's a workhorse, and they used him like a mule yesterday. All right? So, but he stepped up to the challenge, and wow, I mean, the reports of the demise of the Georgia Bulldogs without Todd Gurley is greatly exaggerated, because they get a fantastic win. And you're talking about a Missouri team that isn't a bad team. And they go on the road and they beat South Carolina at Williams-Brice in a fantastic win. But when you think about it, now that I step back for a second, that South Carolina win really probably isn't that great, because South Carolina has been struggling this year as well. So I don't know what you make of this. I think you just give much kudos to the Georgia Bulldogs and going in there and handling their business. And I mean, I know some people lost some money on this game this past weekend, because nobody saw a shutout coming on the road with a team without the number one player in college football. Nobody saw that coming. So, ball award goes to the Georgia Bulldogs and Mark Richt in particular, man. Fantastic job. They jump up to number 10 in the polls after that impressive win. And they're lumped in with a bunch of other teams with five wins, 1 loss. You only got 3 teams or actually 5 teams at the top of the polls with no losses. You got Mississippi State, who we'll talk about more in a second. Florida State, Ole Miss, Baylor, Notre Dame. Those are your top 6 teams, or your top 5 teams with no losses. So tremendous win for the Georgia Bulldogs, and a couple of more teams get an L, and these teams that got 5-1 records, a couple of them add another loss, and Georgia could find themselves back in the conversation. I don't know about that. I don't know if this was just an aberration on yesterday or not, but on Saturday or not, but just a great win. I mean, a great win. Enjoy it right now if you're a Georgia Bulldog fan. And also, this past weekend, on the flip side of that, tough loss for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets as they go down to the Duke Blue Devils. Yes! 31-25. The game was stopped for a long period of time because of weather in the Atlanta area, and Georgia Tech came back out kind of slow, and they got it all together. They scored some points at the very end, but it just wasn't enough. And the Duke Blue Devils 31-25 win over the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Don't look now, but Duke is 5-1. Wow. So they get a ball award, man. I mean, wow. Damn. The Duke Blue Devils winning games, beating Georgia Tech. I mean, that never happens. Yes. The Yellow Jackets have the best offensive efficiency in the ACC, but until this weekend, that didn't matter. It didn't matter because Duke is handling their business. So, shouts out to Duke, the Blue Devils. Shouts out to Max McCaffrey. You know who Max McCaffrey is? Yes. There's not a lot of people in the world. You know, that's kind of a unique name, McCaffrey. And yes, Max McCaffrey, 3 catches, 36 yards. Easy Ed McCaffrey's kid. Yes. Playing wide receiver, wearing his daddy's number at number 87. And he had a good game on yesterday, made some key catches for Georgia Tech this past weekend. Saturday, I keep saying yesterday, but this past weekend. So, I mean, what do? You give shots out to David Cutcliffe and the Duke Blue Devils. Who would have seen this coming? Nobody. Absolutely nobody would have seen this coming. Nobody. And they've been doing it pretty solid over the last couple of years under Cutcliffe. And so they extend that a little bit more and have another impressive win. All right, so good luck. Good stuff to the Blue Devils. Unbelievable win. All right, 404-382-0338, 404-382-0338. And one more thing on Georgia Tech. I mean, that's pretty much what you're going to get. And Georgia Tech people were questioning the fact that Tech was undefeated, but they were only ranked, I believe, 22nd after last week. And why aren't they a little bit higher? It's because of the makeup of the team. And here's the problem you're always going to have with Georgia Tech. And I had this long conversation with somebody this weekend about this while I was at the Falcons game. The problem with Georgia Tech is they're going to beat a lot of teams, okay? They're going to beat a lot of teams because of the offense that they run. But when you run up against a team like Duke with, most of their roster dudes are scored like, top tier or top echelon in the SETs in the country, they got smart players. And so if they're disciplined and they read their keys and they stay home and they play fundamental football, you got a chance to beat a Georgia Tech offense with this triple option and what Paul Johnson likes to do. You're absolutely going to have an opportunity, man. And then add to that fact, and I don't want this to be poo-poo on Georgia Tech Day, but it is what it is. Because they run this offense and that particular offense, okay, because of the fact that they run this triple option, which is basically prehistoric in today's world of football, you're not going to get the best players in the country. You're not going to get the best quarterbacks. You're not going to get the best, even though Justin Thomas has been doing very well this year, and he was replaced this past weekend. They gave the backup a shot. But you're just not going to get the 5- and 4-star recruits because these kids don't want to run in that type of offense. And I'm talking offensive players here. Because the best players are inherently trying to get to the NFL. And being a quarterback at a triple option, we're running a triple option, and a tailback in that formation like Lasky's doing, and he's doing a fantastic job. But kids don't want to play in that because it doesn't lend itself to showing well for scouts. So you're always going to get 2- and 3-star players at the max for the most part if you're Paul Johnson and Georgia Tech. And I wish them nothing but success, and I'm always rooting for them, obviously. But when you got this type of offense, man, it's just kids don't want to play in that. There's no other way I can say it. Kids don't want to play in that, man. And you watch what they're doing in Oregon, and you watch what they do at Boise State. And, pretty much we've talked about it. 90% of these teams, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, 90% of these teams are running the spread. And they're throwing the ball 30 and 40 times. And they're doing bubble screens. And they're doing this, that, and the other. And they're doing all of these trap plays. And the running back is, getting these belly plays. And it's just, that's the world we're living in right now. And I hate it for the most part. I talked about the fact that I love, when I see teams run old school football, play old school football on offense with an eye for nation. But it is what it is. You for the most part, you got to try to keep up with what everybody else is doing. And nobody's doing this triple option, man, stuff. And obviously they're definitely not doing no triple option in the NFL. So you're going to have a hard time getting the best players to come play in that system. And it is what it is. And once again, you're going to win a lot of games because A lot of teams aren't disciplined, so you'll catch them sleeping. But then long term, no, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work in 2014. All right, the number is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at Doug@thedougstewartshow.com. I'm on Twitter at The Doug Stewart Show, at The Doug Stewart Show on Twitter as well as Instagram. So hit your boys up and continue to pass the word. Continue to tell people about the livest, the most interactive sports talk show in America. And I mean that. And people are tuning in. Our numbers are fantastic. Continue to tell people. I really appreciate it. Got a couple of business meetings this week where we're expanding the show. We're doing bigger things. Add more stuff to the show. Bringing in more sponsors. It's all happening. It's all happening. And it's all because of you, and I thank you very much. So let's continue to keep it going. Let's keep this momentum going and pass the word about the Doug Stewart Show, man. All right. Up next on the Doug Stewart Show, we'll talk about some more college football and some big wins for some teams. And the state of Mississippi is still on fire. Yes, the state of Mississippi is still hot like fire. And we'll talk about their big wins this past weekend, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. We'll grab your phone calls. We'll read your tweets. We'll do all of that. It's Sports Talk with Hot Sauce. Texas Pete Hot Sauce. It's the Doug Stewart Show.
So you think you're a fantasy whiz, huh? Well, prove it and make some nice scratch at the same time. Scratch is money. What you know about FanDuel? FanDuel packs the thrill of a whole season in 1 week. Play in 1 week fantasy football leagues for free money with immediate cash payouts. The money is real with no season-long commitment. That's huge because when your team starts to suck, you don't want to play no more. It's no more fun. Trade everybody. I've been there. You play when and how much you want. Deposit now and FanDuel will match it up to $200. Use the promo code COOLER, that's COOLER, and take advantage of free loot to get your game on. FanDuel, where every week is a new season. The Doug Stewart Show is off and running. But just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk dudes in America? By the way, I'm talking about myself. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at Doug@thedougstewartshow.com and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty, people know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at your boy. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at Doug@thedougstewartshow.com. What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers in compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you so they can get you the best possible settlements or solutions to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've also helped thousands of people, thousands, solve their tax problems. So don't play around. Click on their link on my website, thedougstewartshow.com, and let 911 Tax Relief help you in your situation with our uncle. You know, Uncle Sam.
All meat, no gristle. The Doug Stewart Show.
That's right, all meat and no gristle. This is the Doug Stewart Show. You know what gristle is? Gristle might be a country term. I'm not sure. I think gristle might be a country term, but it's like the hard little, gristle. It's the gristle part on the meat. It's not the fat. It's kind of like fat, but it's harder. It's like I guess in technical medical terms, it's probably like a ligament or something. Yeah, or something like that. But it's good. You suck on that gristle, but it's not good for you. So we got all of the meat here. This is real meat. All lean meat beef byproducts. In the famous words of the great Ric Flair, All lean meat beef byproducts. Shouts out to the great Ric Flair. If anybody can help me get Rick on the show, I mean, you'd like make my day. Like, you'd make my week, my month. You'd actually make my life if you could help me get Ric Flair on this show. Producers, get on that. Get on that. Yes, y'all see me. Y'all hear me. All right, the number is 404-382-0338. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show, and this is a Man Talk Monday. And you can also email us at doug@dougstewartshow.com. All right. So we're getting your ballers and your busters from this past weekend in the world of sports, in particular in the NFL, in college football. Shouts out to the San Francisco Giants, man, or actually to the St. Louis Cardinals as they get the big win on yesterday. 5-4, tying up their series in the NLCS. Colton Wong homers in the ninth inning, walk-off homer, and they get it done. Yes, big-time home run in the ninth, lifted the Cardinals to a 5-4 win over the Giants in the NLCS, so they get it done. So ball award goes to those guys and Colton Wong in particular. But we're talking a lot about football and everything from this past weekend. A couple of messages here on Spreaker.com. And you can listen to the show on Spreaker.com as well as straight to the DougStewartShow.com. And we've actually updated the website where all of the archived episodes are on there as well, just like on Spreaker. So any episode that you've heard or that you've missed, you can go back and listen to it on the DougStewartShow.com. And you can do the same thing on Spreaker as well. So we're all over the place. There's no reason not to listen to the show. From That Ninja, he says, is it against the rules of journalism to say Matt Ryan holds some responsibility for these losses, considering he gets all the credit when they win? Oh, it's definitely not against the rules of journalism. And I guess you're probably talking about sports talk journalism as opposed to real journalism where, you know, guys reporting stories and writing articles, that type of thing. You're supposed to be totally non-biased. But when you're talking about passions and sports talk and people's opinions, no, it's definitely not. So, yeah, Matt Ryan does deserve some of the credit. And people get real down on Matt Ryan in this town when we don't win. And when, you know, he doesn't have this miraculous game where he throws for 400, 500 yards. And he does deserve some of the credit. I mean, this team is struggling right now offensively. That's what you make your bones on. And the Falcons just aren't getting it done. They just are not getting it done. And obviously didn't get it done on yesterday with the very, very small production game that they had on yesterday against the Chicago Bears. So, yeah, I definitely give them some of the blame as well. Here's a message from Scotty. He says, Mississippi State, number 1. Doug, I don't care how good Mississippi football is right now. I will never support anything coming out of that state. And a lot of people do feel that way. But, yeah, you got to give credit to where credit is due. And the Mississippi State Bulldogs, 38-23 winners over the Auburn Tigers. And right now, the number 1 team in college football, and let me say this, I watched that Mississippi State game. That's the best football team in the country that I've seen this year, okay? And you thought that maybe it was a little bit of just beginner's luck or whatever you want to call it. In the win last week against Texas A&M, lost again this week to another tough team from Mississippi in Ole Miss, 35-14, 35-20 actually. So, you know, Texas A&M has really stumbled over the last couple of weeks after what they did in a tremendous win at the first game of the season, the kickoff classic game against South Carolina. So they've kind of taken a couple of steps backwards. They can't stop anybody, and that's, you know, Sumlin's known as this great offensive mind, but his teams historically have not been great defensively. Even when he was at Houston with the Cougars, they weren't solid on defense. So he's going to have to shore that up. But offensively, they're one of the best. So they go down to Ole Miss. Ole Miss is now the number 3 team in the country. Florida State drops back to number 2. And Mississippi State goes to number 1. And the defense for Mississippi State forced 4 turnovers, including twice in Auburn's side of the field. So just a tremendous team. The Dak Prescott kid is obviously, I would think, probably the leader right now as far as this Heisman Trophy. He's ahead of the crop on as far as anybody in the NFL with some of the tough losses and what happened to Gurley and some of the bad performances by some of these guys over the last couple of weeks, Dak Prescott right now is the leader, as far as the Heisman Trophy, and just a phenomenal job this past weekend. Great game by that young man. Tremendous game by that young man. Tremendous game by Ole Miss, and the state of Mississippi is on fire. Yes, it's on fire. And it's probably the best year of college football. There's no probably about it. Up until this point, the best year of college football in the state of Mississippi in its history. And they are balling out of control. And as I mentioned, Florida State, they fall back to number 2 in the polls. And really, you want to position yourself to make sure you're in the top 4. So this playoff thing is really, really going to change everything as far as what happens in these teams and the way they're ranked in the polls. All you got to do is just stay in this top 4. So Jameis Winston, who just had a fantastic weekend, and I think to talk about him, he was 30 for 36, 317 yards and 3 touchdowns against a lackluster Florida State Syracuse team, new to the ACC, who's 2-4 on the year. But I guess all of this talk about Jameis Winston and trials and cussing, jumping on tables and cussing has really caught up to him, because really no one's really given him the conversation that you would think a guy that's won 19 games in a row, that's right, Jameis Winston has won 19 games in a row, would get. And I guess it's all of the peripheral stuff and all of the things going on off the football field. And also Florida State hadn't looked as sharp as they have in the past, as they did last year. So I think that's part of it as well. And really it doesn't matter, once again, if they stay undefeated, they're going to be in the Final Four. They're going to be in this 4-team playoff. So I guess you say if you're a Florida State fan, it's no big deal. All we got to do is continue to handle our business, and we'll be just fine. Okay. So the interesting thing is, if Florida State does get a loss, how much will they drop? Because Auburn only dropped to 6, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. And I mentioned this to somebody this past weekend on Twitter or on Facebook or something like this, that I didn't think Auburn was going to drop that much because it was on the road. They did spot Mississippi State 21 points damn near, and yeah, you make your breaks, you make your opportunities, but damn, Auburn really came on strong the second half and really got close and made this thing into a ball game, which you thought they were in striking distance. So I didn't have a problem with Auburn only dropping to 6. I did not, because they're a tough team. Nick Marshall, I don't think, had the best game this past weekend. He definitely didn't have the best game this past weekend. And so them dropping to 6 was pretty apt. He only threw for 209 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, but 2 crucial interceptions. We talk about the fact that they spotted Mississippi State these points early into the game. But, yeah, so I didn't have a problem with Auburn dropping back to number 6. The thing about Mississippi State and why I think they're the best team in college football, and I think they're going to be probably the favorite to win it all this year going forth, is they got so much talent, and they got big bodies. Like, their defensive and offensive lines look like a pro team. Yes. So they're big, they're strong, and they're physical. If you play football in the SEC, you're physical no matter what. And that's what Mississippi State has. They just got some monsters on the offensive and defensive lines. So that's really coming to fruition right now. And I think they're the best team I've seen this year. And I've seen Florida State. I just talked about them. Seeing Florida State. Florida State doesn't look like they have that same pizzazz as they had last year when Jameis Winston was a freshman. Obviously watched Ole Miss. They get the big win over Texas A&M this past weekend, 35-20. But they just don't look as dominant as Mississippi State does. And they've got a playmaker in this Prescott kid. A lot of times the X factor is, do you have a guy that's going to make that can make a play, and that's going to make a play in a crucial situation? And this guy seems like he's that dude. Yes, he does. He seems like he's that dude. So I tell you what, when we get back from the break, man, I want to read your text and your tweets, and on Spreaker and all of that, man, and get your thoughts on this past weekend. Need your ballers and your busters. Who gets a baller? Who gets a buster? We'll run through some more games in the NFL. We'll also talk about some of these other big wins for some teams in college football. We'll do all of that. Yes, we will do all of that on the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. Sports Talk with Hot Sauce, Texas Pete Hot Sauce, the Doug Stewart Show.
The Doug Stewart Show is off and running, but just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America? By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty. People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at your folk. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Yes! I'm always saying get with the times. Stop acting like you at your mama house, calling that girl you met at summer camp 2 states away, and your mama screaming out, I know you better not be talking long distance on that phone running up my bill with that old hussy. Well, get with the times with your long distance charges. Presenting Univon. Univon offers unlimited worldwide calling to 60 plus countries for $14.99 a month. No contract, no activation fee, and no cancellation fee. Users can call anytime using their mobile phone or home IP phone. So stop flushing money down the drain. Get more details by clicking Univon's link banner on thedugstewartshow.com or the link on the DougStewartShow.com app. Try out Univon and call your people like you not at your mama house. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right, billions with a B. Well, just do it and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one console, a Facebook shopping application, a mobile-optimized website, and much, much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on their link on thedugstewartshow.com or the app link for details.
You're locked into the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining your folk. Really do appreciate it. Number is 404-382-0338. Once again, that's 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. And this segment is brought to you by Univon. Great long distance, not like you at your mama's house. So go on my website, thedugstewartshow.com, click on their banner link, and check out Univon. All right, so we're getting your ballers and your busters from this past weekend in the world of sports. And we're also talking college football, pro football, and anything you really want to get into. I'll tell you a quick little story. It's not really a story. Let me let you know what I did this past weekend. My daughter had this game Saturday morning. She's a cheerleader for like some 10-year-old kids. And so I went to this game, and let me just say this. Some of these kids are sorry as hell. And there's no other way to get around it. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Some of these kids are sorry as hell. But the big thing about it is it's not really their fault. Okay? And I think it's the parents' fault. And we always have these discussions. And I looked at the team that my daughter's team was playing this week. And I'm not going to mention the name of the team or where they're from. But some of these kids on this team that my daughter's team played, and my daughter's team won, I think they won 40-something to nothing. But the little kids that they were playing, their team, the kids on that team sucked. And there's no other way to say it. And my daughter even said it when we were leaving the stadium. And my daughter said to me, they need to get some more players. My 10-year-old daughter says, quote, unquote, they need to get some more players. Or they need to get some different players, I think is the way she said it exactly. And the problem is some of these kids are playing not because they want to play, because clearly they don't like contact. They don't like sticking their nose in there. And if you're a kid and you don't like contact, football isn't the sport for you. It just isn't. And it's amazing to me how I watch these parents in the stands just screaming at the coaches, put little Johnny in, put little Johnny in. But little Johnny's sorry as hell. Why would the coach put little Johnny in and little Johnny sucks? Yes, I watched a kid get blocked down the field for 30 yards. I did. I watched a kid get blocked and this kid wasn't able to disengage from this block for 30 stinking yards. And then I continued to watch this same kid, and the kid was like smaller than everybody else, and his damn knee pads were down to his ankles, and his helmet was tilted because it wouldn't fit him right. And the kid, whenever he was trying to make a tackle, like he'd dive for air where the kid with the ball was, and there would be nobody there, and he'd get up and he'd go, damn, like I missed him again. You missed him 37 times today, man. So clearly this kid didn't want to be out there. And I'm watching parents, scream at him and the coach screaming and whatever. And these kids don't even want to play. Okay, public service announcement. Your kid don't have to play football. And that's the best way I can say it. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. This is a DPSA, a Dougie Public Service Announcement. Your kid doesn't have to play football. Find out what your kid like. Find out what your child likes to do. Your kid might be the greatest, saxophonist in the world. Your kid might be a world-renowned doctor or a lawyer or something very important. He might be a scientist or something. The kid might like science. But you got him out there playing football, and he clearly doesn't want to do it. Yes, there should be some kind of campaign to get rid of these crazy-ass parents. And I watch it every single week, and my daughters have been cheering. My oldest daughter used to cheer from the age of 7, so I've been watching Little League football very intently over the last 15 years, okay? Ever since my oldest daughter was cheering, my middle daughter was cheering. And so I'm watching these kids, and these kids don't want to play. And guess what? They don't have to. They shouldn't have to. Stop living vicariously through your kids, man. And if you watch your kid get humiliated every single week, that should tell you something. And I know I'm getting off here on a tirade, but it is what it is. I mean, it's just bothered me. It really bothered me to watch this kid that clearly doesn't want to play out there doing it because his daddy's a maniac screaming on the sideline. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, man. And we had a long discussion about it this weekend on Facebook, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. And me and my brother played football from the age of 7. We both started when we were 7, and we played our entire lives. But I thought about it, and my pops never was anybody. He wasn't one of those guys that made us play football or made us do this, that, or the other. I think what he did to spur our interest in football is he used to take us to watch my uncle's Little League football games. And then so we say from that, we were intrigued to do it. Our uncle was a pretty good football player, so we were intrigued to do it. So can we play football? Yeah, of course you can play. But it wasn't like, I'm making y'all play football or y'all going to play football this year, this, that, and the other. No, our old man never did that, and I don't do that with my kids. Whatever they want to do, I kind of try to hold their hand a little bit and lead them to some things I think they would be good at. But if they say they definitively don't want to do it, then that's it. That's it. Sometimes maybe to a detriment because I think that if they worked on things, they could get better. But if they clearly don't want to do it, I'm not going to make them do it. Yes, everybody has God-given talent and ability in something. Just find it. Find your passion. Don't make your kids go out there and embarrass themselves, humiliate themselves, and you. Your kid out there sucking. Everybody in the stands see your kid sucks, and that's you. He's a direct reflection of you. But guess what? If your kid graduates from medical school and becomes a doctor, then that's you as well. Take some of that credit. Don't take credit for your kid getting run over every 5 minutes. It's horrible. It's horrible. And damn it, I didn't even talk about Falcons and Bears or Dallas and Seattle or whatever. You know, they get ballers. Dallas gets a baller and the Falcons get busters and the Bears, they get ballers and everybody else and Mississippi State and Ole Miss and all of those, they get ballers. But I think this had to be said. It had to be said. I mean, golly. 404-382-0338. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. Can you identify with the story I'm telling? I mean, it's really sad. It's really sad. And it can't help a 8, 9-year-old kid's self-esteem to get dump trucked every other play. It can't help him. Yeah, it can't help him. And this kid just jumps up, this one particular kid, and half of his team was just as bad as him. And I'm not putting names to nobody. I'm not telling you which team it was or whatever. I'm not that type of guy, okay? But I do have to keep it real. And be honest with yourself. Just be honest with yourself, seriously. Would your son be better served at home studying or playing his instrument or doing something else? As I put it on Facebook, don't make your kid go out there and play football. Have him learn a trade or something like that. Have your kid learn a trade or join the Flag Girls or the Boy Scouts or something else, but not football. Every kid doesn't have to play football. He might be great in baseball. He might be great in basketball or soccer or whatever he wants to do. But football, that ain't the place to throw your kid out there just because you like football and he doesn't. That's not the place. That's not the sport to do it. Don't make your kid play football. He don't want to play football. Or he clearly is not suited and equipped to play the game of football. You're doing everybody a disservice. The coach got to play him because of these rules in 2014. He has to get so many snaps. He got to get 6, 7, 8 snaps. Damn it. You're contributing to a loss if your sorry-ass kid out there. Yes. And I got to keep it real. This is the Doug Stewart Show, 404-382-0338. It just really bothered me. That really bothered me when I was sitting out there watching this. And that they got this kid out there, and this kid clearly doesn't want to play football. Yes. So I guess I title that The Great Football Kid Rant. Yeah, I guess so. 404-382-0338. 404-382-0338. Find your kid's passion. Your kid might be a great artist that you don't know because he's out there and he's getting his fingers stepped on and broken trying to play football. He might be the next, Van Gogh or one of them important great artists from 2,000 years ago. I don't know, but damn it. Your kid can't paint if his fingers get stepped on and he didn't want to. Oh, unbelievable. And it's really the parents' fault. It's the parents' fault. And, to a lesser degree, I would think, if I had to estimate it, a lesser degree, the coach's fault. Because they're not teaching the skill set anymore as well. They're not teaching skills and fundamentals like they used to, I think, when I was growing up or before that, It's just, it's just different now. But bottom line is, if your kid sucks, and if your kid sucks or not, let's just be honest. Look in the mirror. Once again, just look in the mirror. If you know your kid sucks at football, don't make him play. Just ask him today. If you're listening to this show, and we've got thousands of listeners. If you're listening to this show today, and this whole scenario is your scenario, ask yourself, and ask your kid today, ask yourself, are you doing this kid a disservice? And when your kid gets home from school today, just ask him out of the blue. Just ask him out of the blue. Do you really like football, kid? Do you really like football? Just say, listen, just be honest with me. Give me your honest answer. Before you ask him, preface it by saying, listen, be honest with me. You can be truthful with me no matter what you say. I'm not going to be mad one way or the other, little Johnny, okay? All right? The question is, little Johnny, do you like football? And if he hesitates for half of a second, or if he looks off into space and gives you an answer, whatever that answer may be, yes or no, then tell little Johnny he doesn't have to play. Just tell him that, man. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, 404-382-0338. You can also text me on Spreaker.com in the chat room and give me your thoughts on that. I see the chat line just blowing up with this conversation because a lot of people can relate to this. And you can also hit me on the Doug Stewart Show on Twitter at the Doug Stewart Show. Yeah. So, I mean, it really bothered me. Man. Also, we're talking football. We're talking college, pro. Some big games this past weekend. Tough loss for the Atlanta Falcons as they go down, and they go down hard, boy. They go down hard, boy, to the Chicago Bears, 27-13. So really, really tough loss at home, and that's the big thing about that Falcons loss is that it is at home. And Matt Ryan pretty much throughout his career has been unbeatable in Atlanta. And the Dallas Cowboys, man, they get the biggest baller of the day award, 30-23 on the road in Seattle against the 12th man. So just a tremendous job by the Dallas Cowboys as well. And big wins by the teams in Mississippi State, a huge win over Auburn, as well as Ole Miss, a gigantic win over the Texas A&M Aggies. And then also a couple other wins. Baylor, they win 61-58 in an absolute shootout. And I've been throwing around that term a lot around here, but Baylor, number 5 team in the country, have been on a great run over the last couple of years, ever since RG3 came on the scene. And Baylor used to be one of those really bad teams, historically bad teams like Vanderbilt and like Duke, who got a big win over Georgia Tech this weekend. But Baylor is on the map. They are on the map and doing big things. So ball award goes to the Baylor Bears as well. All right, the number is 404-382-0338, 404-382-0338. When we get back from the break, we'll still talk some football. I'll give out some more baller awards, some more Buster awards. We'll talk about this college football, talk about the NFL. If you got thoughts about, sorry-ass little kids trying to play football, hit me up. Let me get your thoughts. I'm not directing about any particular kid. I'm saying just in the general, all right? I would never throw a kid under the bus like that, by name. Now, I can keep it real and tell you that some of these kids suck and they don't need to play football, and you know damn well they don't need to play football. But I would never throw a kid and, him and his parents by name under the bus. I just wouldn't do that. Don't go away. It's the Doug Stewart Show.
I'm always saying get with the times. Stop acting like you at your mama house, calling that girl you met at summer camp 2 states away, and your mama screaming out, "I know you better not be talking long distance running up my bill with that little hussy girl." Well, get with the times with your long distance charges. Presenting Univon. Univon offers unlimited worldwide calling to 60+ countries for $14.99 a month. No contract, no activation fee, and no cancellation fee. Users can call anytime using their mobile phone or home IP phone. So stop flushing money down the drain. Get more details by clicking Univon's link banner on thedougstewartshow.com or the link on the DougStewartShow.com app. Try out Univon and call your peoples like you not at your mama house. All right, I know the deal. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right, billions with a B. Well, just do it, and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one source, a Facebook shopping application, a mobile-optimized website, and much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on the link on thedougstewartshow.com or the app link for details. The Doug Stewart Show is off and running, but just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America? By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty. People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at your folk. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Yes!
His realness on radio has been banned across America, except for Dodge City, Kansas. The Doug Stewart Show.
That's all right. That's all right. We not banned in the ATL. And this is the Doug Stewart Show, the livest, the most fun, the most interactive radio, internet show in America. Thank you for joining, folk. I really do appreciate it. The number is 404-382-0338. And a lot of people chiming in about the conversation in the last segment. Not ballers and busters, which we are still taking your ballers and your busters from this past weekend, but some real talk, man, about the state of youth sports. Excuse me. And I told a story about how I went to a Little League football game. My daughter's a cheerleader. And how clearly some of these kids don't like contact. They don't want to play football. And that's really a big part of that whole diatribe is the last place you want your kid playing football or doing is playing football and they don't like contact. Because contact's kind of important in football. Yeah. From Coach Bill Royals. Wait until you sit next to a parent who played and says he's a quarterback because I was a quarterback. Oh, my gosh. We see that all the time. You know? How many times have you seen because a guy is the coach, his son's automatically the quarterback? That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And that kind of leads me into another story. When I came out of high school, my senior year in high school, we had a quarterback that was the head coach's grandson. Now, the kid was in the ninth grade at the time. And he wasn't sorry, but we had played Little League and junior varsity together as a unit. You know how you come up with some certain guys. And so me and this another particular quarterback played with each other all through Little League and high school. And so we got our senior year, just all of a sudden, the head coach, God bless the dead, Gerald Moody, he was a legendary coach in the state of South Carolina. His grandson was a true freshman. So they moved our boy, who was the quarterback forever, they moved him to defense and put him at safety. Now, we all played both ways a lot of times up until that point. But, you know, at that time when we were seniors, nobody really played both ways. We had maybe one or two guys do that. So they moved him to straight defense. But this guy had played quarterback his entire life. Yes. I mean, from the age of 7, like I keep saying, from the age of 7 on through high school, we get to our senior year, and Moody, I'm not bashing Moody. I guess I kind of am, but I'm not. He was a great man. I loved him to death. It really helped me, football-wise. He was a great coach, very respected in our community. Like I said, I think he coached for like 34 years. We get to our senior year in high school, and Moody puts my homeboy to defensive back and starts his son, who, mind you, had never played a down of football in his life. Not in our town. Like, no one ever knew him to play junior varsity or Little League or anything. And as a true freshman, you starting on the varsity? When we got a kid that's so seasoned, has played the quarterback position for like 10 years? It was unbelievable. And that's the way things were done back then, and, you know, politics behind it. So, yeah, we see these biases all the time from coaches, man. And a lot of times it is because the coach, you know, used to be like Al Bundy back in the day, and so he's trying to make his kid play this, that, and the other. So it's all intertwined what we're talking about here. But it's just sad. Yeah, because I played football and I was pretty decent 25 years ago, my kid's going to start. And he's going to start at quarterback, the most important position on the field. I hate that crap. Man. And you see it all the time. Here's a text from Harold Archie. He says, laugh out loud, Coach Bill. That's the truth. Yeah, agreeing with what Coach Bill said earlier. From James Cooper, he says, sometimes you have to get kids away from those video games. Yes. Yeah, they think because they play good on Madden. If your kid is like the bomb on Madden, that does not translate into real football. I promise you. You might be new at this parenting game or this football game or whatever. You know, maybe you didn't play any sports when you were growing up. If your kid is good in Madden, that does not translate into real football. I promise you. From Bush, he says, Doug, had my son in basketball, soccer, and track. He showed no skills, Now he's in golf, showing out against kids his age. That's right. I wish that I had played golf when I was young. I wish that I knew about the game to a point where I could actually play it and be good. Yes, your kid might be the next Tiger Woods, but you got him out there butting heads with some little angry little Tasmanian devil kids. And I've been really going on and on about how some of these kids are sorry, but some of these kids are a little beast out there. Yes. And so you don't want your punk-ass kid running up against one of these Tasmanian devils. Some of these kids are aggressive and nasty, kind of like me and my brother were growing up. We were aggressive. We were aggressive kids. So football was the perfect outlet for me and him. Not for every kid. Okay? Not for every kid. Let's talk to Triple Digit. Triple Digit, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What you got?
What's up, Dougie?
What up, Triple Digit?
I'm a little sad today, but that's all right. I'm going to give a buster to my whole, DC, DMV area just for my Redskins. I mean, how do you lose to the Cardinals with Carson Palmer?
Yeah.
To the injury bug thing that you call, whatever it is, that, Bradley Beal goes out for 2 months, and, our future small forward, Kevin Durant, goes out for 2 months. I mean, it's
your future small forward, huh? You're already claiming Kevin Durant, huh?
Yeah, he's coming home in 2 years. But that's all right. He's not going to win the title in the next 2 years, so he's going to want to go play with some beasts and John Wall and Bradley Beal, and then we're going to butt heads with LeBron and show them that we are the best. But that's all right. It was a whole bad weekend, and that's right.
Triple digit. Your Redskins are 1-5, man. 1-5. Your boy,
I love him.
Your boy Kirk Cousins throws, I think, 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter?
Oh, wait, am I not allowed to sing that? Back to reality.
Yes. Back to life, back to reality for Kirk Cousins, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's the next great thing. No. RG3's got that special quality if he stay healthy.
You know what? The funny thing about Kirk...
I'm going to get my golf ball.
What I was going to say, it was one funny thing about Kirk Cousins. You know that after the first game where Kirk Cousins had this fantastic win and had these actually I don't even think it was a win, but he threw for 400 yards or whatever. If Kirk Cousins would have been relegated back to the bench, right, if he would have been relegated back to the bench and the starter came back in there and Kirk Cousins was a free agent, Kirk Cousins would have probably been the biggest free agent grab, making the biggest contract of the summer, had he gone back to the bench and just showed what he did in that first game. But now he's been exposed and it's all over. He can forget about all of that type of stuff in conversation.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good backup, and I'm glad to have him there behind RG3 when RG3 gets hurt, because we know, unfortunately, he will. But he's not a starter in the league.
Right.
A baller to myself just for being, a DC fan. I've been a fan for my 37 years, almost 38 years of my life. I'm going to stick to it, and it's all good. I mean, I've seen an NBA title. I've seen 3 Super Bowl titles. I've seen college basketball, men and women, and Stanley Cup at least making it to the finals. So
right.
It's got a lot more than Cleveland, a lot more than Atlanta, a lot more than a lot of these cities that would be jealous of what I have. So I'm going to stick to it, and it's going to make it that much sweeter when we get back up on top.
Hey, Triple Digit, you're a true fan, and that's how it's supposed to be, man. Good for you.
I can't wait for you to be back on top on
Appreciate it.
Have a great day. Have a good week.
And he's gone. Thank you for the call, Triple Digit. And that's how a fan's supposed to be. And that's what really pissed me off about the whole thing with LeBron going to Miami and these bandwagon fans that openly said that when LeBron goes back to Cleveland, that I'm going to back with him to Cleveland. That's just horrible. I mean, it's just horrible. And there's certain rules to this game of being a fan. There's a certain etiquette. Yeah, you can do what you want, but there's almost like an unwritten code to being a fan. And flip-flopping your team just because a guy you like leaves, this, that, and the other, it doesn't work, okay? I've been a Laker fan through thick and thin. Ever since I started following the Lakers in 1982, 83, I've been a fan through thick and thin, and there's been a lot of thin, okay? Right now, we're in some thin. Yeah, the Del Harris years were thin. The Smush Parker, Kwame Brown years were thin. But I never wavered, not one time. And I'm pointing my finger to the ceiling, my index finger to the ceiling because I've never wavered as a fan. Never. You know, you gotta stick with them through the good, through the bad, through the sweet, through the sour. All right? That's what you got to do as a fan. That's what you're supposed to do as a fan. You fake-ass Heat fans, you know, LeBron gone. Now you burned all your Heat stuff. And you're buying Cleveland Cavaliers stuff. That's bootleg. That's bootleg as hell. It doesn't work like that, man. Oh, my gosh. All right, you're listening to The Doug Stewart Show, the most fun, the most interactive sports talk show in America. Well, we keep it real. We keep it real. All right? So don't go away.
I'm always saying get with the times. Stop acting like you at your mama house, calling that girl you met at summer camp 2 states away, and your mama screaming out, "I know you better not be talking long distance running up my bill with that little hussy girl." Well, get with the times with your long distance charges. Presenting Univon. Univon offers unlimited worldwide calling to 60 plus countries for $14.99 a month. No contract, no activation fee, and no cancellation fee. Users can call anytime using their mobile phone or home IP phone. So stop flushing money down the drain. Get more details by clicking Univon's link banner on thedugstewartshow.com or the link on the DougStewartShow.com app. Try out Univon and call your peoples like you not at your mama house. All right, I know the deal. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right, billions with a B. Well, just do it, and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one source, a Facebook shopping application, a mobile-optimized website, and much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on the link on the DougStewartShow.com or the app link for details. The Doug Stewart Show is off and running, but just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America? By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty. People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at you both. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Yes!
In an all-out war against lame-ass sports talk, The Doug Stewart Show.
That's right, we are in an all-out war against lame-ass sports talk on The Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining the folk. I really do appreciate it. Listen, man, if you're a company out there and you'd love to partner with The Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Email your boy at doug@thedugstewartshow.com and let's do business. We are doing huge things around here. I mean, just tremendously big things around here. So what you need to do is get in on the ground floor. Get in on the ground floor and get these great deals. Man, and we would definitely love to partner with your company, all right? So email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Thank you very much. All right, this segment of today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. One-day fantasy sports for as low as $1. Can't beat that with a stick. Yeah, fantasy sports for $1. If your team is struggling right now in your regular fantasy league, I'm not saying quit, but try FanDuel. I'm telling you, make some real money, real cash money, and you get paid as soon as the game is over. And it's not as hard as you think. I think a lot of people think that FanDuel is hard to set up and to do. Couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. It's very easy to set up, very easy to play. You can bet $1 up to a couple of $100 on FanDuel, so they got you covered, all right? This is the Doug Stewart Show. We're giving out ballers, busters. We're talking about everything that happened this past weekend in the world of football. The Falcons go down to the Chicago Bears 27-13. The big conversation, though, all day long is about the Dallas Cowboys as they go into Seattle and get a huge win, 30-23. And right here at home as well, the Georgia Bulldogs, man, a tremendous win. They got to get a huge ball award on the road, 34-0 over the Missouri Tigers. So ball award goes to the Bulldogs, man. And Mark Richt and not, crumbling under pressure. No Todd Gurley, and they get it done. And in particular, give a ball award to Nick Chubb, the freshman running back, 38 carries, 143 yards. They did the damn thing. On the flip side, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets take a humiliating loss. And I'm saying humiliating because they lost to Duke. You just can't lose to Duke. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. You just can't do that. So they lose 31-25 at home as well against the Duke Blue Devils. And David Cutcliffe has that team playing fantastic, man. Just brought a new attitude to Duke. Okay? I mean, a new attitude because these guys are playing like they belong. They are. And this Anthony Boone kid, the quarterback, 16 for 26, 131 yards. Not big stats, but very efficient. Didn't turn the ball over through one touchdown pass. So Duke is playing solid football. You got to give them some credit. So that's what we're talking about today. Reading your tweets, reading your chat on Spreaker.com. Make sure you tell at least 8 people about the show. I mean, that's all I'm asking is just tell 8 people about the show, the most fun, the most interactive show online and on radio in general. I mean, this is what we're doing around here. We're having fun. We're talking about these sports. Once in a while, I get up on little tirades and talk about, some things that I have going on in my life. And I talked about it, what I saw this past weekend at a Little League football game. Some of these kids don't want to play. And bottom line, DPSA, a Dougie Public Service Announcement, don't make your kid play if he doesn't want to play. Here's some chat from James Cooper. He says Kirk Cousins equals Scott Mitchell. He's exactly right. Kirk Cousins threw 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter. I mean, horrible as they take a loss this weekend, and they're 1-5 on the year. And the Redskins, they suck. They absolutely suck. Fred Mack says, this damn conference bridge got me missing the show. Thank you, Fred, for trying to listen to the show. You got to be careful, though, and not lose your job trying to listen to the Doug Stewart Show, because if you do, don't come to me. Yeah, don't come to me. Handle your business at work. From Corporate Brother says, kids nowadays have too many options to succeed. Back in the day, especially in the South, football was the way out. Yes, I agree with that. They got too many options. This ain't 1940, and that's why boxing has really struggled so much, I think, is that, boxing was a way out for kids. Getting hit in the head for a living, that's nothing that no one, I think, initially wants to do. Getting hit in the head is not a way to make a living. But, kids from tough situations and circumstances, they were attracted to boxing because if they could fight and they were tough, they did it, and you got paid doing it. Nowadays, those kids that were the best boxers, they're playing football now. And football is still a tough way to learn to earn a living, but it's easier than boxing. At least you can put on a helmet and put on pads, So a lot of the kids that used to box that would have been, in the heavyweight division, those guys are playing defensive end now and playing linebacker now. That's why American boxing isn't what it once was. It's just times have changed. And, he's exactly right. These kids, they have so many opportunities. Don't make your kid play football just because you like football or because you're trying to live vicariously through your kid. Don't do that. I mean, that's just inhumane. It is. Buster Ward goes to the Steelers, Giants, Jets. Mike Tomlin, your Steelers have quit on you. Wow, I don't know about that. Have the Steelers quit on Mike Tomlin? And it happens. It happens sometimes in sports where, the team just doesn't respond. And that's why they bring in a new coach to give the team a new voice. You can't get rid of everybody, okay? You can't get rid of everybody, but you can definitely get rid of the coach. And losing to the Cleveland Browns 31-10 is not a good sign that the team's responding to you. And so I understand the tweet from Corporate Brother. He says, that the team has quit on him. I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd go that far. But a 31-10 loss to the Cleveland Browns is a tough pill to swallow if you're a Cleveland or a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. It just absolutely is. It just absolutely is. because the Steelers, you're talking Steelers, you're talking Browns. Browns, one of the worst organizations in sports. Throughout my lifetime, I was thinking about a number, 10, 25 years. No, I'm about to be 45 years old. And ever since I could remember, the Browns have been bad. The Browns were kind of decent, I guess, a couple of years. The Brian Sipe, I don't know, no, not Brian Sipe, the Vinny Testaverde years, Bernie Kosar years maybe. Bernie Kosar is who I'm referring to. But no, the Browns have always been bad. Relatively speaking, the Browns have always been bad. And they get a big win over the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend, 31-10. And this Brian Hoyer kid, man, he's trying to keep clamps on this job. Not allowing Johnny Manziel to even get on the field. 8 for 17, 217 yards. Once again, not gaudy numbers, but very, very efficient. 1 touchdown. And the offense, I mean, they're running the ball. 25 carries to Tate. 25 carries, 78 yards. 11 carries for Isaiah Crowell, former Georgia Bulldog. Exiled, kicked off the team. So he's doing well as well. And so the Cleveland Browns, big win for the Cleveland Browns. Good for them. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. 404-382-0338. The Tennessee Titans get a win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars suck as well. And how about this? The Baltimore Ravens just crushed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 48-17. You thought that Lovie Smith had turned things around with the great win that they had a couple of weeks ago after the tremendous dismantling by the Atlanta Falcons. But nah, this team has a lot of deep-rooted issues. So it's not going to happen overnight. I think Lovie Smith is a good coach. He's shown that he's a good coach, but they got real issues down there in Tampa Bay. They have huge issues down there. The Denver Broncos continue to roll 31-17 over the New York Jets. And I think that the Geno Smith experiment might be over. I think they're in a situation right now where they're probably going to continue to play him. Why not? Playing a 30-something-year-old Michael Vick, who's on his last couple of years. Starting Mike Vick probably isn't the way to go at this point as an organization. You use a high pick on Geno Smith. Go ahead and play him. See if he can get better over the next couple of weeks. But you got to basically write the season over. Or write the season off. The season is over. Because this team is just bad. And they just don't have players. I don't want to even make it sound like it's all Geno's fault. Because he's got nobody to throw the ball to. He's got nobody that can run the ball. Their defense hadn't been playing Rex Ryan jet-type football over the last couple of years. So he doesn't have a lot to work with as well. But he doesn't look like a guy that's going to be a starter in the NFL. It definitely is the way it stands right now. He needs to try to get it together real fast, or he's going to be one of those career backups. I don't even know if he's even built up enough goodwill where you can consider him a career backup. A guy that's going to carry a clipboard for 10 years. He's got to really start to show some things because he's digressed. The last part of the year, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, the last part of the season last year, he really started to make some strides, but it looks like he's digressed back to like rookie Geno that can't play Geno and, not going to be in the NFL Geno. Just not a good look at all. Green Bay Packers, big win as they beat the Miami Dolphins 27-24. You saw some heroics in that. Your boy, quarterback for the Pittsburgh or the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, 24 for 42, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. And I heard the guys this morning on some of these sports talk shows. I can't even remember where it was. It might have even been ESPN or Mike and Mike. And Chris Carter was talking about, it was Tom. It was Tom, whatever Tom's name is, the linebacker, used to play for the Denver Broncos. He was talking about Aaron Rodgers and how good of a ball that he throws. And I've said that over the last couple of years, that Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the NFL. He throws the best ball. Reminds me of Troy Aikman, where it's just perfect. Like the running back or wide receiver never has to break stride, and it always hits him in the breadbasket. I mean, right in the middle of the breadbasket, and it seems like that whenever he throws a pass, that he's never putting his wide receiver into jeopardy of taking a big hit. It's just like phenomenal. And they haven't been that team that we thought the Green Bay Packers were going to be when they won that Super Bowl a couple of years ago. But they're still a good damn team, and I think they still have the best quarterback in the game, still. And we talk about these young quarterbacks and how these young quarterbacks are doing great things. But listen, don't forget about Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the NFL, even surpassing, I think, Tom Brady. I would still take him over, at this point in his career, Peyton Manning. Don't sleep on Aaron Rodgers. Don't sleep on him because they haven't been as dominant as we thought they were once again after the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. But don't sleep on Aaron Rodgers and his skill set as a quarterback. Dude is a player. Dude is a quarterback. Dude is the truest sense of a quarterback. Eddie Lacy's stinking ass, 14 carries for 40 yards. He's up and down, up and down. He gets a Buster Award. He gets a Buster Award because he's my fantasy running back. And I expect my fantasy running back to get me at least 150 yards and at least a touchdown. And so I'm really pissed off at Eddie Lacy. But once again, he's up, he's down. He's up, he's down. So next week he'll probably go for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's just the way that guy has been in his career. Very solid one week and not so much the following week. So, yeah. So ball award goes to the Green Bay Packers as they win. Aaron Rodgers does that fake snap at the end of the game. They score a touchdown. They win the game 27-24 over the Dolphins. Dolphins 2-3 right now. 1-2 at home as they lose at home against the Packers. All right, up next on the Doug Stewart Show, more of your ballers and busters. I'll read more of your tweets, more of your chats, and we'll continue to have a good time and have fun. We got some callers on the line. Callers, hold the line if you can. Please hold the line, and we'll get you when we get back from the break. Don't go away. It's the Doug Stewart Show.
What is 9/11 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers in compromise or penalty abatements. 9/11 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So don't play around. Click on the link on my website and let 9/11 Tax Relief help you in your situation with our uncle, better known as Sam. So you think you're a fantasy whiz, huh? Well, prove it and make some nice scratch at the same time. Scratch is money. What do you know about FanDuel? FanDuel packs the thrill of a whole season in 1 week. Play in 1 week fantasy football leagues for free money with immediate cash payouts. The money is real with no season-long commitment. That's huge because when your team starts to suck, you don't want to play no more. It's no more fun. Trade everybody. I've been there. You play when and how much you want. Deposit now and FanDuel will match it up to $200. Use the promo code COOLER, that's COOLER, and take advantage of free loot to get your game on. FanDuel, where every week is a new season. I'm always saying get with the times. Stop acting like you at your mama house, calling that girl you met at summer camp 2 states away, and your mama screaming out, "I know you better not be talking long distance running up my bill with that little hussy girl." Well, get with the times with your long distance charges. Presenting Univon. Univon offers unlimited worldwide calling to 60 plus countries for $14.99 a month. No contract, no activation fee, and no cancellation fee. Users can call anytime using their mobile phone or home IP phone. So stop flushing money down the drain. Get more details by clicking Univon's link banner on thedougstewartshow.com or the link on the dougstewartshow.com app. Try out Univon and call your peoples like you not at your mama house.
Sucker Sports Talk hosts can't hide. Now back to the Doug Stewart Show.
That's right. They cannot hide. They cannot hide from this realness and this trillness. on the Doug Stewart Show. Thanks for joining you, folks. Really, really do appreciate it. I say I appreciate it probably like 50 times a day because I really do mean it. Thank you very much for making us the number one, the hottest sports talk show in America. Yes! Yes! I can't even start to explain to you how much people are talking about this show. The word is getting out there. And initially, we started just really by word of mouth. But everybody talking about it now. We're getting a lot of press. The buzz is out there. So thank you very much. And I think people really gravitate to a show like this because it's just fun and real. And we don't take ourselves too serious around here. And we're talking about sports and whatever you want to talk about. And obviously, from this past weekend, we are talking college and pro football. Don't forget, tomorrow, we're going to have on the great Takeo Spikes. That's right, linebacker for the Auburn Tigers. Great Auburn Tiger linebacker. As well as Cincinnati Bengal, Buffalo Bills, San Diego Charger. Takeo ended up playing with a bunch of different teams, but for the longest time, he anchored that linebacker core for the Cincinnati Bengals. And just a real good dude, Georgia boy. So Takeo Spikes will be on the show tomorrow to talk about what he's got going on, get his thoughts on his Auburn Tigers as they go down this past weekend to Mississippi State. And, just football in general. Dude's got a wealth of knowledge, just a real solid player, has seen it all, and so can talk about football from an analytical aspect as well. So, and he's doing some analyst work right now, so it's going to be real good. We're going to have Takeo Spikes on the show tomorrow. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining, you folk. I really do appreciate it. This segment is brought to you by AmeriCommerce. All you need to get your online store off the ground right. That's AmeriCommerce. So if you're trying to get that online store started, go to my website, thedougstewartshow.com, click on their banner link, and get all of the details, okay? All right, let's go ahead and talk to T from Huntsville. T, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What you got, T?
Doug Stewart, what's happening?
What up, T? How you doing, brother?
Chilling, bro. As always, enjoying the show, man. Glad to hear you. That's for sure. And I just wanted to give out a couple of ballers and busters.
Do it.
Give a baller out to. Oh, go ahead, sir.
No, I said go ahead and do it.
Oh, okay, man. I'd like to give a baller to the committee, only dropping Auburn, I think, the 6th.
Right.
That showing that they finally getting a little bit of respect. I remember back in the day they would have dropped them out the top 10 real quick.
Right.
I give a baller to the state of Mississippi. I mean, at the end of the day, those two teams won the game and they're sitting on top. There's a couple of questionable calls in that Auburn game, but we won't talk about that. So let's give a ball to the state of Mississippi because right now they're handling business.
Right.
I'm still going to give a buster to the entire state for lack of social progress, but that's a whole other subject.
Right.
And as far as the Jets go, okay, again, I'm full disclosure, I'm a Mike Vick fan, and I understand what he did to the show back in the day, and I agree with you that was very busterish because y'all support him throughout everything, so he should have stayed with y'all there. But I think to say he's on his last couple of legs, I mean, he probably is because of the way the league goes, but I mean, as far as ability, he's not on his last couple of legs. Peyton Manning's old as dirt, and Mike has a mechanical arm. He can still throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Will he get an opportunity to? Probably not. And I wanted to defend Geno Smith just a little bit. It's early in his career. I don't think he's so much regressed as I think that coaching staff and that offense has regressed. They're not really doing a good job of coaching him up. The defense isn't playing well. And he has, I think, his top 2 receivers absolutely have no skills in martial arts. So, I mean, really, what is he going to do with that? I mean, to be honest, he really has nobody coaching.
Yeah, and I think that's why, and I appreciate the call, T, and I think that's why he has been, I guess, given the benefit of the doubt up until this point. And I think that I still hear, for the most part, a lot of these, quote, experts and analysts say that they would still ride with Geno. It's because of the scenario, and it's one, and I mentioned, basically all of your points a little bit earlier, is he doesn't have a lot around him. He just doesn't have any talent around him, so it's really hard to judge. And then he's young as well, so you want to give a guy an opportunity to work himself through some of the issues, but you have to give a dude some targets. You got to give a guy some weapons so that he can, facilitate an offense. And it's hard to come down real hard on Geno Smith with all the blame when he's throwing to, I don't know, Amaro and Eric Decker. Eric Decker was supposed to be that guy for this team. Eric Decker's a solid receiver, but he's a number 2 receiver at best. Okay? So, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. And Geno probably doesn't deserve as much criticism that he's getting right now. But at the same time, he's been making some horrible decisions. The interception he threw yesterday was just, it was just bad. It was just bad. So he deserves a lot of the blame, but I definitely understand what you're saying is he doesn't have a lot to work with, but he's have to improve his overall decision-making. That's the big thing that I see with Geno. I think he has adequate enough arm. I'm not going to say his arm is Cam Newton's, but he has a strong enough arm to throw that 10, 15-yard out. So he can do that. He's just got to make better decisions, man. Just eat the ball. Just eat the ball. If your guys aren't good enough to get, separation from a defensive back, don't throw it to him anyway. You know your guy isn't good. Don't throw it to him anyway. So I think Geno's going to have to start making better decisions. From John Marsh, who says, hell, dog team, if a team can get rid of a coach, we should get rid of Mike Smith. I guess he's a Falcons fan. The seat under Mike Smith is getting very hot. I'll say that. It's getting very hot under him and as well as Thomas Dimitroff. So, they've done so many good things, though, cumulatively over the last couple of years. I don't think that it's just that clear cut that Arthur Blank's going to get rid of his GM and his coach. We will keep our eye on that, obviously. From Juan Cruz says, Doug, Geno is not the problem. The boy has 0 weapons. We just talked about that. From James Cooper, Baltimore Ravens, coming for that Falcon ass. Yeah, I guess so. Baltimore looking fantastic on yesterday. And what about Steve Smith? Another touchdown catch yesterday for Steve Smith. And he's really, really been rejuvenated. He's been balling out of control. And I like that. I always root for the little guy. Always. And so I like to see Steve Smith, and I like Steve Smith's attitude. I like the fact that he's cocky as all get up. The Falcons, they do take on the Baltimore Ravens on next week. I believe the game they play Baltimore is this coming week. So they go to Baltimore. Falcons on the road for like 4 of the next 5 games. Then they're going to finish out the year with a lot of home games. But over the next couple of weeks, they got a real tough time ahead of them, especially with the way that they looked this past weekend at home against the Chicago Bears and the loss 27-13. So they travel to Baltimore, and then they have a home game against Detroit, but then they're back on the road again against Tampa Bay, and then they go to Carolina, and then they take on the Cleveland Browns and Arizona at home. So they have a little stretch where they have a couple of games, but on the road 3 of the next 4 weeks, I believe. So going to be real tough coming up for the Atlanta Falcons. Once again, especially how they looked this past weekend. Just not a good look at all. A real bad look if you ask me, because the Falcons don't lose at home. They haven't lost at home under this new regime, under Matt Ryan and under Thomas Dimitroff as GM and Mike Smith as coach. Coordinators were changed and brought in and had pretty good success initially, except for last year. Starting last year, everything's just seeming like it's just out of sync, and injuries and this, that, and the other, just out of sync. The Falcons seem out of sync big time. Yep. All right, this is the Doug Stewart Show. This was the Doug Stewart Show, and about to get out of here. Thank you very much for listening to the show. And continue to tell people, continue to pass the word about the most fun, the most interactive show in America. Talking about these sports. And tomorrow, I'm going to have on a great guest. The great Takeo Spikes is going to join me on the Doug Stewart Show. Get his expertise in the world of football. And we'll talk to Spikes about what he's got going on. So you don't want to miss that. Tell all your Auburn fans. If you're a Bengals fan, this guy was the Rocky of defense for a long time, Cincinnati Bengal fans. So we're going to have him on the show tomorrow. So give us a call. Give your friends a call. Tell them that the Doug Stewart Show will have on the great Takeo Spikes on tomorrow. All right. Thank you to everybody that made this Mad Dog Monday a success. Yes. To my producer, Tree Taylor, a.k.a. the Tree of Life. Thank you very much, Tree. Thank you for all that you do. Waterhead Walter, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, sir. Dwayne Bassan, my engineer and website guy. Thank you very much, Dwayne Bassan, as well as Gerald Oliveri, same thing, engineer, app guy. He also developed my app. These guys are fantastic. If you want to find out who developed my app and my website, I'd love to pass their names along to you. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. These guys do great work. So I would love to put you in contact with these guys. They can develop your website or your app as well. All right. So we'll do it again tomorrow on a Top 5 Tuesday. We'll talk to Takeo Spikes, have fun about sports, pop culture, whatever's going on in the news, we'll do it tomorrow. All right? Same Doug time, same Doug channel. Peace.